It's cold out there. Ed's forecast only has highs today in the 20s. It's been a while since we've had weather this cold, so now's a good time to talk about how it can impact your health, and in very significant ways. For that, we have our 9 News medical expert, Dr. Payal Kohli, joining us this morning, going over something of like a cold weather survival guide.
That's right.
I like this. It's very timely. So first, talk about some of the health risks that are associated with this type of cold.
You know, the cold weather, obviously we think about cold-related health risks like frostbite, where the little tiny blood vessels in our skin constrict. We could lose a finger, we could lose a toe. We think about hypothermia, where our body temperature gets down a little bit too low. But believe it or not, Corey, the cold can actually affect our organs and our other health risks. So I remember back in medical school, the classic picture of a heart attack is a man leaving a bar after he's just had a drink with a cigarette butt on the ground because he's just smoked, and the snow is blowing and he's clutching his chest, because what the snow does is it puts stress on your cardiovascular system. So people that go out and start shoveling the snow may not be in the best shape. You can actually trigger a heart attack. You can trigger changes in your blood pressure. You can put stress on your heart and trigger heart failure, heart dysfunction, just because of the cold weather. And then as you're breathing that cold air, it really dehydrates or dries out your lungs as well. So you can be at increased risk of respiratory problems as well.
So when you see people running on days like this, because we saw this in Boulder this morning and Denver, bad idea?
Terrible idea. And John was just talking about it where he was, that people are running outside. No, even if you're someone who normally runs outside, because what you're doing is actually consuming in more of that cold air. So the dose of that cold, dry air is higher. You're at increased risk of falls, of course, as well, because you're running and it could be icy underneath. And then again, it puts a stress on your cardiovascular system. So indoor exercise is something I really advise on days like this.
Good point, because it's also freezing and slick out there. How does our behavior change during cold weather, and can this also contribute to the risks that are associated with it?
Yes, and so we're different. What are we doing today? We're drinking a lot of coffee, right? We're probably eating and snacking more. So data tells us that people are taking in more snacks and more food because it helps to generate some of that heat. So snacking is more. Some people have mood swings, actually, when the weather changes and it's cold. We've all heard of seasonal affective disorder, but the cold weather for some people can also trigger depression, feeling low, feeling blue, and that can change our behavior as well. And then our metabolism changes too.
In what way? Like it slows down?
No, the opposite.
Really?
Yes, it speeds up. So there's 2 ways that our body keeps itself warm. So let's say we're outside for an extended period of time doing a live shot, for example. One is shivering, and we all know that. That's when it's extremely cold. But there's also something called non-shivering thermogenesis, where our body breaks down our fat. It's called brown fat, and it breaks that down in order to liberate heat as a way to kind of warm up our body. So it's really kind of a nice perk of the cold weather.
I was going to say, I mean, like you were talking about how more people snack on cold days, but our metabolism's working faster, so it all works out.
Yeah, usually we snack more than our metabolism makes up for it. But
we didn't need that piece of information. So lastly, what can we do to reduce our risk?
So you really have to be mindful. A cold day is not just a regular day. You have to be careful. You know, if you're doing any kind of activity like shoveling or such outside, make sure that you warm up inside before you even go outside. Don't just start doing it right away. Cover our heads, because we lose 10 to 20% of our body heat through our heads, so make sure our heads are covered. Make sure we have good footwear on, because that's how you avoid those slips and those falls, and take small shuffling steps rather than, you know, big, giant, large steps. And then be mindful of kind of what you're eating, how much coffee you're drinking, how much hot chocolate you're drinking. All of that.
Yes. I tell my kids to take little steps like penguins. That's what I tell them.
Right, exactly.
It's good. Well, some really great reminders, and I learned some new things this morning. Dr. Kohli, thank you for coming in.